Our energetic little doryman is about to deliver us to a very special destination in Nova Scotia's LaHave Islands. This could be your private hideaway amongst the friendly fisherfolk of this amazing complex of islands. And you're less than a half an hour from Lunenburg or Bridgewater. But then you may prefer to come by car, in which case you'll come across the Causeway Road that parallels the mile-long Crescent Beach. At the end of the beach, you'll cross the bridge onto Bush Island. Then you'll proceed a mile or so to the single-lane bridge connecting Bush and Bell Islands. Bell Island is the end of the road, so to speak, and it is our destination. Only Bush and Bell Islands in the LaHave group are accessible by road. Well, here's our little doryman again. He thinks we should check out the neighborhood before we get too settled into this property. He's right. It is impossible not to get laid back and comfortable living here in this Swiss Family Robinson reincarnation of paradise. So we're going to shove off again and take a trip all the way around Bell Island. You'll see more of the islands, each with a distinct personality. Here we are again at the Bush to Bell Bridge. Looks a little more imposing from down here on the water, doesn't it? Speaking of imposing, we're going to pass by a few pretty imposing summer homes on our tour. In fact, the LaHave Islands have been the summer haven for generations of come-from-away sojourners, keepers of the secret, as it were. The first keeper of the secret was Samuel de Champlain, who rested and recreated here in 1604, but had the good sense to keep it quiet, aside from putting the place on the map for the first time. As you can see, fishing is still the cultural and economic focal point of these islands. On the right, on the starboard, we're looking at Tumblin Island. In the days when the water was the highway, Tumblin was a more populated suburb, looking across the water at the wharves and the fish houses on the backside of Bell Island. Back on the starboard side, we have Wolf Island, where we will see a number of quintessential island homes and fish houses. Looming on the horizon is Cape LaHave Island, the mothership of the archipelago, size-wise at least, but totally uninhabited. And here's Wolf Gut, separating Bell and Wolf Islands. Note the complementary juxtapositioning of the big Cape Island lobster boat tied up to the dock on the Bell Island side, and the two pleasure craft coming up on the Wolf Island side. If you're looking for a metaphor for the LaHave Island culture, you're seeing it right now. Not surprisingly, the old fishermen's homesteads on Wolf Island have attracted the attention of artists and writers over the years, but anonymity is the code out here. However, even creative hermits need to stock their larders, and the modest structure coming up on the Bell Island side is the public dock for the Wolf Islanders. It's sometimes interesting to check out the license plates on the cars parked behind the trees above the dock. Here's the Bell Island Church and the old schoolhouse. Yes, the facility perched over the water's edge is what you think it is. Decommissioned, of course. To the starboard now, we have the traditional homesteads on Middle Island, one of the barrier islands with its back to the full force of the broad Atlantic, and Little Cabbage Island. As with most of the LaHave Islands, Middle and Cabbage Islands have nice sand beaches. In the distance is Mosier Island, second largest in the archipelago. Swinging back to the port side, we're in the home stretch along the north shore of Bell Island to our home base. And here's our neighbor, another traditional homestead with a characterful fish house. All of the shore frontage in this frame is part of the 7.4 acre property being offered. So, now you've seen the neighborhood. Let's look at the property. Certainly, one of the outstanding features of this property is the private little protected inner harbor. It is pretty easy to see how this area is the focal point for play and relaxation for young and old alike. It seems like all roads, make that all boardwalks, all ramps, decks, bridges, lead ultimately to this amazing configuration of granite ledge and blue water. This goes way beyond being just picturesque. It is invitingly functional for every fun-filled aquatic endeavor, from swimming and fishing to sailing or just lazing around in the sun. Don't you just want to get out there? Just jump in. The first time I saw this home, almost 10 years ago, I was immediately reunited with childhood visions of Swiss Family Robinson. If this is being lost in an island paradise, then rescue me not. The whole edifice is creatively elevated over the rocks, sort of hanging out up among the trees. The layout doesn't miss a trick in the business of getting its occupants out into the fresh air. The decks totally surround the house. Whether it is shade or sun you want, you can chase it around the house all day long. And how about just laying out and stargazing on summer nights? Inside, the house is a linear log quilt work of rooms. We enter via the kitchen dining area. This is a casual space for refueling between aquatic pleasures. As you're seeing, throughout, the home is filled with broad ocean views. Altogether, there's about 1,600 square feet of living space, 3 bedrooms and 2 full baths, with loads of closet and storage space. There's also a spacious laundry building off the back veranda, which has plenty of potential as additional guest quarters. And up the driveway, there's an exceptionally large double garage. Plenty of room here to house boats and marine equipment during the winter. The property has a fully approved septic system and a drilled well with an endless supply of fresh water. Though primarily a summer home, the underside of the house is fully accessible for the kind of insulation that would make the place a cozy and efficient year-round home. Okay, summer beckons. Let's get back out there.